This is Robert Kraft, and I'm coming to you live on SNNLive, and we're at the LD Micro Invitational 2017 in Bel Air, California. With me right now is JD McGraw from Ironclad Encryption. It's a publicly traded company with the symbol IRNC. JD, welcome to SNNLive.
Thanks. Great to be here with you.
It's great to have you on. Thank you for joining us. So, for our audience, let's start off with an overview of the company and then go from there.
Okay. Basically, we have patented technology to be able to protect everybody's data in transit and at rest. I don't have to convince everybody that they're being hacked. There's only two kinds of people, Robert, in the world. People that have been hacked and know it, and people that have been hacked and don't know it. And that's really what we've seen. There's been billions of dollars being spent on protection out there from numerous companies, and we read about it every day of something new coming up with malware, worms, or whatever. Basically, what we do is we don't care if you get hacked. We're protecting the data in transit and data at rest, which would be on your computer, a Fitbit, your cell phone, or whatever. As a matter of fact, the day before we showed up here at the conference, we just signed a deal with Sonam phone manufacturer on putting our encryption on these phones. This is one of the most rugged phones made in the world.
Okay, so let's take a step back. I'm curious about the history of the company. How'd you guys start and then develop to where you're currently at today?
Okay, basically Daniel Lerner, who's our inventor, came up with this technology and started getting the patents as far back as 15 years ago. We've been able to take that through connections with guys, ex-agency guys from the CIA, the NSA, and the military, and been able to perfect it to be able to work and to work on a commercial basis.
Okay, so let's get into the technology a little bit deeper. Tell me, how does it exactly work?
Well, basically, we do 6 different things when you're sending an email or you're sending some kind of information over whatever platform it is. We don't care if it's over the internet, if it's through a cloud, if it's on a Fitbit, a cell phone, or whatever platform somebody has. So we basically set a ratchet system on each end. Those ratchets will change every second or 100 times a second, depending on what the client wants. Then at that point in time, let's just say it's a 10-page document, we will dice that 10-page document up into every 32 bytes. We add a slave key on top of that, and then we have a random generator which will spit those out in AES or triple DES, which are approved ciphers by the NSA and the DoD. On top of that, we'll load a master key, and the smallest master key that we can do is about 4,000 bytes. We can go up to 200,000. Now, your standard encryption is only 256-bit. Now, by doing those 4 things, the other 2 things I can't talk about publicly, but when we send that over, now that 10-page document, when it gets to the other end, instead of just a 256-bit key protecting it, we just sent 1,250,000 bytes of keys that a man in the middle would have to go through in a second or less. That's a big difference. These other ones, like if you talk about the Panama Papers, which was a law firm that got hacked, they used a 256-bit key. They had 11.5 million pages stolen. Actually, the president of Iceland had to resign because it showed he owned a company in Panama, which was receiving kickbacks from the contracts that he was letting in the government. So I can give you 100 other examples of that, but that's probably one of the biggest.
Okay. So what is your product really replacing, or what's the competitive advantage that your technology has over what's currently available?
Well, basically, we work inside what people have already bought. Somebody already has ASE on their encryption, or they got triple DES in whatever product they bought. It could be McAfee, it could be something that FireEye sold them, or Alert Logic. We're able to go in and harden what they already have with the patented technology we have and under what's already been approved by the NSA and DoD. That's what we have the ability to do. So we're not really displacing somebody else's software. We're able to go in on whatever a company's already using and to be able to harden what they're using.
So who's your target customer? Is it you and me, or is it institutions?
No, it's more institution. What we've done is taken a rifle approach we've teamed up with guys from Schneider Electric, from Rackspace, from other companies to help develop it for the industry market, because PLCs and power plants are at a high risk. They're being penetrated all the time. So we have the ability with the PLC market to be able to protect that, and with the wireless gateways, because you've got guys that are communicating with wireless gateways, and they do use some encryption, but if you bought a gateway system 10 years ago, it's got the same key that it had day one. So somebody could have had 10 years to try to hack and find out what that key is to do it. And that's what's wrong with the systems today, is at the endpoint you've got a single key or you got a single person. Now if you start talking about data at rest, we put encryption rings around files or around a client that you might have. And then you tell me you want 4 people to authenticate that before it gets downloaded. That's what happened with Snowden. Snowden walked in, had a thumb drive, took 15,000 files. Under our system, he wouldn't have been able to do that. And that's happening numerous times.
So where's the business currently at today? Update us.
Basically, we've teamed up with these different companies to go out and to take the encryption software part and to get application software to make it work in a seamless way. Because at the end of the day, most people don't care about what the encryption or what the protection is. They just want it to work, and they want it to work smoothly. And that's the problem with a lot of the solutions today, is it's so intrusive that the end user doesn't want to use it, so they don't. And they're trying to figure out ways around it. That's the number one problem with endpoint solution is getting the people to actually use it. We're trying to make it to where it's seamless in the background and it's just automatically happening. But the IT department or somebody higher up in the company sets the standards on which they want it to work.
So what's your background? How did you get into all this?
Basically, I come out of the investment banking business, but I was in military defense. And with that and the relationships and the people that I've developed through the different government agencies and software is what got me to this point today.
And tell me a little bit more about the phone and the partnership with Sonim. So this is an example of a licensing deal that you recently cut?
Correct. We made the announcement this week, and what we'll be doing is Sonim already makes the phones. They make one of the most rugged phones in the world. They're already in that market. What we're doing is we've hired a company in Finland that are a bunch of Nokia guys that are taking our encryption software and putting it on a chip that's going to go into the phone. So now they'll start selling the phone, and then we get revenue on a monthly basis for the encryption software. And there's a couple of other companies out there, but their biggest problem has been the latency in the phone. Because when most people do their encryption, it slows everything down and you get a latency, where behind our patent and the way that we do it, we don't change up the packet so it doesn't drag it down on the system. But we wanted to team up with the guys that had the most rugged phone, because we have about 500,000 users that we're going to go out to, that we've been talking to, and they wanted a rugged phone. This phone has 400 hours of talk time on it. You can drop it from 20 feet. You can put it under 10 foot of water. And we have a major network who wants to have it for their people in the field around the world.
So JD, from what you can tell me, what are some of the company's near-term milestones you're hoping to achieve?
Well, we want to be able to have the phone out probably in the fourth quarter on beta test. We have another product that'll have our encryption protection on it for guys that are going to be developers for the healthcare market. Guys that are using Python will be able to pull this off the shelf, put together what they're designing for healthcare companies. It'll be HIPAA approved, and then be able to get that to them, and it'll be in a secure way to where people aren't going to be able to hack it, implant a worm or malware or anything in it before somebody starts using it. Because last year we probably had 12 hospitals that ended up having to pay ransomware because their information was stolen.
So for more information, where can our audience go and find everything they need to know about Ironclad Encryption?
Well, our stock symbol is IRNC, and then our website is ironcladencryption.com.
My name is Robert Kraft, and I'm coming to you live on SNNLive, and we're at the LD Micro 2017 Invitational in Bel Air, California. With me again is JD McGraw from Ironclad Encryption, symbol IRNC, and thank you for joining me.
You got it, and I'm out.